Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome back. I am Naya B. Thank you for tuning into my channel. Today, I want to talk about something that I think all of us are guilty of. And something that really needs to be talked about, which is imposter syndrome. Okay? Imposter syndrome. I want to dive into that topic. It's that feeling of not being capable, not being talented enough, and the fear of being exposed as a fraud. Okay? So, imposter syndrome is what we're talking about today. Let's get into it. So, imposter syndrome really affects all people. Doesn't matter. Those high achievers, the super smart, the elite, the wealthy, it don't matter. Everyone is affected by imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is our way of measuring ourselves, regardless of the talents that we have, our creativity, the great things, the achievements that we have. We measure ourselves and then don't quite think we meet up to the accomplishments. So it's as if we're a fraud at the things really that we have already achieved. We don't feel worthy of those talents and the creativity, the gifts, whatever that we have. So it is something that I think a lot of us do to ourselves. It's almost like setting a high standard on yourself and maybe achieving it, but not really realizing that you achieved it because of the fear that you don't measure up to that standard. Let me give you some examples of imposter syndrome. When you feel like you don't deserve your accomplishments, imposter syndrome. When you look at your successes as not your hard work, not your talent, not the things that you did to achieve it, but you look at your hard work as luck, imposter syndrome. If you are comparing yourself to other people, imposter syndrome. The fear of being found out as a fraud, that's imposter syndrome. If you are overworking yourself to compensate for your achievements, imposter syndrome. If you're overworking to compensate for your perceived inadequacies, that's imposter syndrome. Or if you downplay your achievements, guilty. Downplay your compliments, guilty. That's imposter syndrome. So imposter syndrome is all about this internal feeling that you are not worthy of the way that other people perceive you. You can have people in your life that really see how great you are, how talented you are, how beautiful you are, how talented, whatever it is, but you don't see it. And so you feel like a fake. You feel like a fraud to your own self because you don't think that you are measuring up to this greatness that people see in you. You can have the evidence of all your accomplishments and still not think you're good enough when you're suffering from imposter syndrome. It's really about being able to accept your own accomplishments and your own achievements within yourself. It's like a self-esteem thing. You know, some of us really don't feel worthy enough or good enough. And that validation and it could be coming from people outside of ourselves, but we got to build that up within us so that we can accept our accomplishments and be proud of who we are. And when people give us those compliments and pats on the back for all the good things that we do, we can truly accept it and not feel like a fake or a fraud and not feel like we're not holding up to the standard that these people see us as. When you talk about downplaying your achievements and brushing off compliments, the reason I say I am guilty is because I'll just give you an example. On my job, okay, I can do something on my job that one of my teammates will be like, wow, Naya, you do this very well, right? Or Naya is the best at this thing on the job. And I always take it as, instead of the compliment, I just go, well, I make some funny joke about it. Like, oh, I just looked up online how to do it. And that's not true. I really do know my job. I know what I'm doing, and I know I'm good at my job. That's the truth. But we tend to brush those compliments off that someone is giving us. And something that I've had to do with myself is not even just work compliments or about your talents, the content you create. Even just somebody looking at me saying, I really like your hair like that, or you look nice today. You look, just those type of compliments, I would still brush off and be like, well, girl, I need to get my braids back in, child. We all do that. What I have been practicing now is to just simply say thank you. Thank you. So when people on the job say, Naya is the best at doing such and such, you go to Naya for this, I appreciate that. Thank you. You sound amazing on the phones. They all say that about my job. You sound amazing on the phones. I used to come up with so many brush offs with that compliment to now I just say, thank y'all. I appreciate that. So just that right there for me has really helped me to get over my imposter syndrome. But I've got about 5 strategies I want you guys to try to get over this thing, okay? So the first strategy, we're going to acknowledge the feelings. Let's go ahead and own it. Let's own that you are feeling this way, okay? And when you own it, realize that it's common to have that kind of reaction to accomplishments and achievements, and it's okay. But let's use some tools. Maybe you need to do some journaling, some gratitude, grounding, and just simply saying thank you when people give you those compliments or talk about your accomplishments, really looking at yourself for what you have done. Second strategy is to celebrate your achievements. There is nothing wrong with celebrating yourself. You are a masterpiece as you are. We talked about it in the last video. You are a masterpiece. Celebrate that and be around people that will celebrate you, okay? It's nothing wrong with if you have a major accomplishment, and it don't have to be major. Sometimes we just make it through the day. Celebrate. It's nothing wrong with that because you deserve it. Third strategy, talk. Talk about it. Talk about your feelings. Talk about, why do I feel this way? Why am I having this imposter syndrome? Talk about it. You have hopefully someone that you can trust, some friends, family that you can be vulnerable with. Talk about it. When we realize and start talking and communicating with the people that are in our core circle, you realize that we kind of all do the same stuff. We're all worried about the same things. So they're probably experiencing this too. So have the conversation and talk about it. Strategy number 4, we're going to challenge those negative thoughts. They're going to come. They're going to flood into your mind. Somebody's going to compliment you and you're going to instantly go to the negative, or you're going to achieve something on your job and here comes a negative self-doubting thought. But we're going to start challenging those things and instantly stopping them and putting something positive in place. Yeah, I am talented. Yes, I am worthy of it. Don't stop listening to that thing in here that's making you question yourself and doubt yourself. Replace that with something positive. And the last strategy for overcoming imposter syndrome would be to talk to a professional, okay? Maybe you need to get in therapy. If therapy is not your thing and you're a person that, I don't know, maybe you're a person of faith, you go to church, maybe you have a trusted person in your congregation, your pastor that you can talk to, but talk to a professional, someone that can counsel you through imposter syndrome, and that can get to the root, the why you have this, because it's stemming from somewhere. It's coming from something probably in your childhood, like all of us, right? So talk to a professional about this, and let them give you some tools and tips to work through that so that you can get on the positive side of this thing. So y'all listen, just remember, that imposter syndrome does not define who you are. You are worthy, you are talented, you're creative, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you are deserving of all of your accomplishments and achievements. This thing does not define who you are. Celebrate your success. You deserve it. You worked for it. It's yours. Celebrate it. Let's change our mindset. No more negative self-talk. Let's replace those with positive things, positive affirmations into ourselves. Let's talk about it. Talk to a therapist. Seek help for these things so that we can be on the positive side. And when you're not showing up as an imposter, you take the mask off, you're showing up as who? Your authentic self. That's what we talked about in the last video. So I hope that these strategies and tips will help someone. I hope that you will dive deep into yourself. Ask yourself these questions. Do I do that? Am I blowing off compliments? Am I making less of my accomplishments and achievements? Why do I do that? Ask yourself these questions and then start doing some work so that you can overcome imposter syndrome. If you found this video to be helpful and useful for you, thank you for watching it. Make sure that you subscribe, hit the thumbs up for me. Put something in the comments about the topic. Maybe put down some of your experience so someone else can read that. And also, if it's any other topics that pertains to self-care, self-awareness, mental health, let me know. Put that in the comments as well. And again, thank you guys for watching.